Hello, everyone, and welcome to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley at Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. A couple sports have started to slow down as we get to Thanksgiving week. Very happy Thanksgiving to all of our listeners and viewers on YouTube, and we thank you all so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Skyhawk Sports Talk. Women's basketball, men's basketball, and football in action this week, Chris. As football in the postseason, women's basketball heading to Hawaii, and the men's basketball team taking on nationally ranked Tennessee.
That's
still a jam-packed week.
Exciting week,
It
right?
is a very exciting
some
week.
Some high-profile action taking place.
It is. We'll get first to women's basketball. Headed to Hawaii for the American Savings Bank Rainbow Wahine Showdown. They will face number 5 UCLA at 5 p.m. on Friday, Hawaii at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, and then wrap it up with Fresno State at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Then men's basketball at number 11 Tennessee at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. That'll be on the Skyhawk Sports Network and SEC Network Plus. Make sure to join us as the Skyhawks head up to Tennessee for the first time since 2022. And there, rather 2021, football will be in the first round of the FCS playoffs at 16-seeded New Hampshire at noon. That will be on Saturday, and it will be on the Skyhawk Sports Network and ESPN Plus as well. Football postseason, men's basketball at Tennessee, women's basketball headed to Hawaii. It is a great week to be a Skyhawk, Chris.
Let's talk about it on the podcast.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. We will take a break. When we come back, head coach of the UT Martin men's basketball team, Jeremy Shulman, will join Chris and I here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here, Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here with me, Chris Brinkley, and now joining us here on the program is Jeremy Shulman, head coach of the UT Martin men's basketball team, as the Skyhawks return after dueling in the Island U Invitational. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, great team, really good battle with them. Wrapped up the tournament with Lemoyne. Coach, thoughts on the tournament? I know that that's a long way down to Lone Star State. Just your thoughts overall on how games went.
Well, a lot of learning. We talked a little bit off air, before we got started. A lot of learning. I mean, played two really good teams. Corpus Christi's been in the NCAA tournament 2 of the last 3 years. They returned 4 starters from a 21-win team last year, and so good team. And true road game. Thought we played really well. We're up 8 second half. Didn't quite have enough to finish it out, but lost that one by 4. Had a couple chances in the last minute to have a chance to possibly tie. And we're proud of our guys for battling. I mean, I thought, again, really good team. I mean, Jim Shaw's got a phenomenal team. They'll have a good chance to get back to the NCAA tournament again this year, and so love that one. The Lemoyne game next day, Lemoyne's also a good team. They lost to Syracuse by 4, and then 2 starters went out, and, of course, they returned only for our game. And so with those 2 guys, with Oscypher Owens and with the Notre Dame transfer at the 2-guard spot, I mean, they were a good team. And I thought we guarded. I thought we played hard. I did not think our legs were underneath us. We go 3 of 31 from 3, and the reality is if we go 3 of 31 from 3, it's going to be hard to win games at this level. But a lot of learning. We're right there, and a couple of games easily could have gone the other direction so far. But really love this group.
I was just about to say, that's just funny how those back-to-back works. You get tired after the first game, and then you got to play the very next day. And, of course, that team gets their best players back. It's just, well, dang it.
I know.
Just sometimes bad timing in that. But all-tournament team for you all, Josue Grullon, Terrence Ginyard both make that for UT Martin. Your thoughts on just their performance overall? Those guys have been playing some good basketball to start the year.
I'll tell you what. They're both, right now, they're phenomenal talents. They're both doing a really good job offensively. They both need to do a little better job defensively and on the boards. But they've got, for them to be doing what they're doing already, first year in Division I, still learning a lot of things about this level, it just shows just how talented they are. Those 2 guys, Josue's been doing it, the whole season. For Terrence to really step up, really got to the rim, really made some plays at the rim. Show some of his explosiveness. He's a fun player to coach. He's a fun player to watch. And they both got to get a little better defensively, but offensively, they were really good.
Yeah, offensively, you're doing what you've done all season. You're sharing the ball. You're unselfish. You're finding ways to make open shots.
Yeah, we need to share the ball a little better.
Okay.
But
do you have a goal, an assist to basket ratio?
We do. We want to have a 60% assist rate, which would be 60% of our made field goals assisted on, and we're not at that right now. and I do think a little bit better shooting. We haven't shot it well. We're a really good shooting team. We're very, very skilled. But I think we're shooting like 27% on the season right now, or 28% on the season. And so I know that's hurt some of our numbers as far as assist rate goes, but we do need to make the extra pass a little more. We do need to kind of read the second level a little bit more and create a little bit better. And I think that'll help our shooting numbers.
How about, to pass up a good shot for a great shot? What's your definition of a great shot, and does it vary to player, and how do you give that information to your players?
It does. Now, we've got a shot spectrum for every player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so like if I'm playing the video game, they have this as their hot spots or
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we don't really want to talk about what we don't want them to do. We just want to tell them what we do want them to do.
Yeah.
And so here are the shots we want you to hunt. Now, we're still young, and so we do have some guys that are taking too many shots outside of that spectrum, but we're trying to stay away from the negativity of saying this is a bad shot. We want them to play confident. But then in the film session now, we can show them after the game, hey, was this in your shot spectrum? Is this the best we could do? But that kind of gives us more of a clear definition of what's a good shot versus a great shot, and so that way the guys don't have to really think during the games.
Right.
They just know what to do.
Does the shot spectrum change during the season for each player?
It will.
Yeah.
It will. I tell the guys I don't determine the shot spectrum; they determine it. And so
nice.
I've had players that I said, "Hey, you know what? Shooting the ball from 35 feet and almost from half court like Steph Curry's not a great shot." And then I coached C.J. Jackson and Ahmed Ali, and you know what? That was a great shot for them. And so
No, that's right.
they teach me what a good shot for them is, and they teach it by what they do every day in practice. They teach it with their work ethic, and also obviously what they can do in games as well.
Yeah, cool.
Coach, I want to talk about also another guard on this team. Afon Trinka has been impressing me with the ability to get assists, leading the team right now with 3, and on his height too. I mean, he attacks the basket very aggressively.
I think Afon arguably has been our best player so far because what he does defensively as well. I mean, he's an unbelievable defender. He's a little bit similar to Aaron Kraft, who played at Ohio State a number of years ago, who's just a lockdown defender as a 6'1" point guard. I think Afon's been doing a phenomenal job. I mean, he's young. I mean, he's made some mistakes down the stretch in games. But for the most part, I mean, he's controlled our offense. He's playing a lot of minutes. He's handling the pressure. Our offense, as at least as of right now, puts a lot of pressure on our point guards to be really good and make great decisions and handle the ball a whole lot and create for others. I do think, again, his assist numbers would be a lot higher if we had been able to make a few open shots that we get per game. But, I mean, I think Afon's been, honestly, I think he's been phenomenal for us.
And want to go, we talk so much about guards and forwards. They get a lot of the recognition, but want to ask you about the big men, Lamine Niang and then also Stefano Falopa. What have you seen from the two big guys so far down low?
Lamine's been unbelievable recently. He wasn't playing a lot to start the season, and now, I mean, he's had a huge role for us. I mean, he's spacing well, he's defending well, he's rebounding the heck out of
He's
the
high energy.
High energy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just getting better and better and better, and so really, really high on him. I think Vlad Salridzi might still be leading the OVC in rebounding right now. Stefano Falopa is probably our best offensive, tall player that we have. So those three guys together, and trying to find ways to play them together at times, which has come with mixed reviews so far in the season. But, I've got so much confidence in all three of those guys. I mean, the more I can get them on the court, together, the better. Otherwise, just three guys splitting time at one spot, which gets hard.
Good news for you all is that this long road trip in November is about to be over. You got 2 more games left, but one more really huge test. Number 11 Tennessee coming up this Wednesday at Thompson Bowling Arena at Food City Center. Just a little test,
They're not bad.
No, they're not bad at all.
They're not bad.
At all.
They're not bad.
Just coming off the Baja Mar Championship, beat Baylor, who is number 13, 77-62. To win that title. Tennessee, of course, under Rick Barnes, has been an incredible basketball program here in the past couple of years since they brought him on. What do you see from the Volunteers?
What I see, what's surprising, I'm a Vols fan. Since
Wade Houston, who'd you grow up watching?
Oh yeah, big Allen Houston fan.
Yeah,
big Vols fan. I mean, a little before my time, but loved Ernie and Bernie and all that. Just a little before my time, but not too long. But my dad would talk to me about that. But just all those guys, all the way through the Chris Lofton years and all that. But the amazing thing to me about this Vols team, they are somehow better than they were last year, even after losing Dalton Connect. And I think it's because of the defensive end. They lose him. They lose, Idu and some other transfers, and they are better. They are so connected. They are so unbelievable defensively. They're getting it done. Obviously, Chaz Lanier, the North Florida transfer, has been phenomenal for them. But everyone knows their role. They're old. They're physical. Again, they're either them or Houston are the best defensive teams in the whole country. So, I mean, we've got our, we got a mountain to climb on Wednesday. So a rocky mountain to climb.
Hey, there we go. I like that.
You might hear Rocky Top while you're
You
there.
might.
Yes. You might.
Just over under probably about 20 times.
Yes.
That's, But you want to get it under that. That's what you want.
The problem I'm going to fight on that is I'm going to hear Rocky Top. I'm going to be like, Rocky Top.
Whoa.
No.
Going to start saying like, Coach White's going to be on the side. Hey, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to be singing Tennessee Waltz. We on the other side.
Yes, absolutely.
That's exactly what it is. So Coach Barnes, 10th season now at Tennessee, 38th overall. What can you say about his consistency and especially being able to continue that now with so much success here at Tennessee and then also at Texas too?
It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's going to be really cool to just shake his hand. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest college basketball coaches to ever coach. His consistency, losing players, adapting to different generations, the one that done so with Kevin Durant, and then trying to get older, and now the transfer portal. It doesn't matter. He just adapts. I mean, he's got to be 35 years old right now, right? Because that's how he coaches. He coaches young. He coaches adaptable. I mean, it's phenomenal what he's done. And I think he's so underrated in the national scheme as far as best coaches in the entire country. I mean, there's not many, if any, better than Coach Barnes.
Yeah.
UT Martin versus Tennessee on Wednesday. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
And like you, Coach Barnes is a good interview too.
So, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck here this week.
Thank you.
We will go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll have Kenley McCarn from the UT Martin women's basketball team join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk, Davis Gregory with Chris Brinkley, now joining us from the UT Martin women's basketball team. A recurring guest joining us back here at Zaxby's.
Future host.
Yeah, future host. Future color commentator on the Skyhawk Sports Network.
That's
It is Kenley McCarn from the UT Martin women's basketball team. Kenley, thank you so much for joining us here this week.
Of course.
So you do everything on the basketball court, so I assume you can do everything behind a microphone too, right?
I don't know. I don't like this part as much, but
Oh, come on. God, it's but you have the media responsibility.
yeah,
That's right.
I know.
So that's probably what Coach McMillan told you whenever I asked. Was like, well, you got to do it.
Yeah,
you
I got
know?
a text. What are you doing at 12? I was like, that depends on what you're about to ask me to do.
If it's practice, then no.
Yeah.
If it's film, no. But if
Yeah.
it's free Zaxby's, yes,
I
I
can
will
be
be
here.
there 100%. So, Kenley, preseason player to watch in your third year on the team now. It feels weird to say third year for you, but how does it feel now back for a third season?
It feels great. I mean, being able to be comfortable. The program by now. I know pretty much exactly what Coach McMillan wants, what he's thinking. Being able to be a better leader, to lead the younger ones. It's just a better feeling going into a season.
Lead the team right now in points per game with 15, and we'll get to that first win of the season right now. Being very talented Missouri State team, got them 74-66 last week. First, the energy. I mean, education. We had We Will Rock You going right before too. I was feeling the juice flow.
Yes,
I don't know
that
about
was
you.
awesome.
Talk about that environment, because that was really awesome, and I mean, no doubt probably helped you all win that game.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, going into a Kibbs game, you obviously know it's going to be a little challenging because of how loud it is and everything. But, I mean, just having the loudness and the energy feeding when you score a bucket and all these little kids are going crazy, I mean, it just keeps you flowing. And, I mean, that definitely helped us get our first win.
What was the biggest crowd? I know you had a very successful high school career. What's the biggest crowd you played for in high school? Like in the state tournament?
Yeah, probably the state championship game would have been the biggest crowd.
And it had that kind of energy.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The whole town was there.
Where did they play that at? Did they play
We played in Hot Springs at a convention center.
Okay.
So it was huge, too big, but
Was
there
it
was
packed out for the championship?
yeah, quite a few people. I mean, it's small towns, so everyone from each town's
So
there.
you were used to the big game environment
Oh,
for
yes,
Education Day.
yes.
Okay. So Anaya Brown leads the way, 25 points, 12 rebounds. She was also a player to watch before the season with yourself. And what have you seen from Anaya this year? Because I thought in that game she was extremely aggressive and played well.
Yes. Coming out, I feel like she started a little slow, which is kind of how she is. She needs rhythm to play. She feeds off of what everyone else is doing. And so as we've progressively gotten our offense going a little better, we've started to push on her a lot more to do what she's great at doing. I mean, 25 is no big deal for Anaya to put up. And so I think she went into that game with a better idea and a better feeling of what we were going to do, and she was able to play a good game.
And the 12 rebounds isn't even her career best. It was like 23 or 22
Yes,
last year. So
exactly.
she can rack up the boards. And Coach has talked about to Chris and I on radio and then also here on the podcast about now there's more people healthy. That I know Morgan still hurt and got hurt in that Tennessee game and still some injuries here and there, but being more healthy, especially from last year and having some more health, that you all can play kind of his traditional style, which is fast and then press on defense. I know that's different, especially from how last year went with playing basically with 6 players in March. So how have you all adapted to that style of play? And you of course as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little difficult. Back in high school, that's how I liked to play. I played fast. I was ready to go. But then coming here for 2 years, we've slowed it down. We haven't been able to play that way. So I feel like my game changed to that, being able to read things. And so now coming into this year, that's kind of doing everything. And so we've been working on it, being able to play faster, know what reads we want, when we want to slow it down. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment. And obviously we've struggled a little bit, but I think it's slowly getting better. So
And you've changed positions this year, too.
Yes. Don't
What's
have to
that
play
been
point
like?
guard. That's been great and a little challenging all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's harder to figure out what you're supposed to do off the ball. So not having the ball in my hands all the time and reading different things, helping other people out, screening has been a lot of new stuff to learn.
Yeah, and that's such a subtle thing, but great players know what to do without the ball and are in the right place when they need to be.
Yeah.
Most fans watch the ball, but there's so much more going on.
Yeah, that's what Coach has slowly been trying, like, hey, you should do this here, you should do that there. And so slowly just picking up things here and there, being able to screen for Anae to get her open, like, because usually my man's sticking to me. Just little things like that, learning as we go, has been big.
And so been giving up the ball to the point guard a lot, Deja Richmond, and then also to your little sister,
Yes.
Caitlin. We'll get to Caitlin now. So she's in her freshman year now with the program. I know Tori was here with Lexi last year, but now your sister is here. What's that experience been like?
It's been really awesome. I wanted her to come because, it's great to have family with you. She's slowly doing what we want her to do. I don't think she expected to have as big of a role as she does. But I think she's tough enough to handle it. And, she's doing as great as anyone would expect as a freshman. She still doesn't get that, like, when Coach is yelling at her, like, she thinks it's a bad thing. I'm like, no, that's good. Like, if you would have seen me in my freshman year, I was getting yelled at so bad. But she just takes it and keeps getting better. So
are there times where after practice where you're like, all right, you could have done that better, that better, that better, that better, and that better?
I try to do that a lot, and she usually just gets mad. She doesn't
She's like,
really.
okay, let Coach tell me what's going on, and you just you stay where you
Sometimes
are.
I try to just refrain because she thinks I'm trying to be mean. Like, I'm just trying to help you, but she's a little stubborn.
What I see in her that reminds me the most of you is this competitive fire.
Yes.
Gracious. What is this with your family?
Yeah,
Is
oh
this
my
in your
God.
Our
DNA?
dad is a little competitive,
Yeah.
so growing up, that is what was expected. We played hard. Nothing else mattered other than playing hard and competing. So we were just raised that way, and of course, competing against each other, we would have at it.
Do you play cards or board games or anything as a family?
Caitlin would love to tell you I would pretty much cry anytime I lost a board game.
Yeah.
I was infuriated, and she loves to make fun of me for it. But that's just how competitive I was. But yeah,
But is
we
she
play a
not the
lot.
same way?
She will get mad, but she, growing up, didn't care as much until she got a little older. So back then, at the board game stage, she wasn't as. But I would get mad, and she would just love when she would win because I'd be in
Because then
tears.
you would be mad. She wouldn't care about winning. She would care about making
Yes.
Kenley mad.
So I don't want to make her mad. I'm going to balance this. But what's something that you're probably going to beat her at, and what's something that she's probably going to beat you at when it comes to competition? And it can be anything. You're not even going to give that away, are you?
I don't know. Basketball-wise, I would say, like, rebounds, defensive steals, like that's more her game. She's quick. She can guard the ball. She can read stuff like that. Me, I probably will score more if I had to win something. But she's also I think she's a better three-point shooter than I am. She doesn't quite believe that yet, but I think she is. So.
What about like bowling or tennis or pickleball?
She's actually really bad at bowling. Like it goes in the gutter every time. My little sister's better than her.
You have to put the railings
Yes.
up.
Yeah, let's talk about the other sister.
Yes.
There's another one?
There's another one. She actually just shot up to like 6 foot. But I don't think she has any
Coach,
intention.
did you just hear that?
I don't think she has any intention
How
of
old
playing
is she?
college basketball. She's a 10th grader.
So she's playing high school ball?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's not quite the same way when it comes to sports. But yeah.
So I think Caitlin, it was on the news, I think it was WPSD maybe, did a story, and Caitlin had said that I think she was the better one-on-one player against you.
Yes.
So here's $1 million question, Kenley. Who has the better record overall?
I'm pretty sure I have the better record.
Okay, there we go.
I think she beat me like one time, and now she says it's every time. But we didn't play much because after twice we would beat each other
Yeah,
up.
just
so
want to fight each other.
yeah,
So, yeah.
we kind of avoided one-on-one.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So, okay. I'm sure at one point in time later on this season we'll get you and her on at the same time. But as of right now, you are the first McCarn on the show. Best Caitlin story that you want the public to know.
Okay.
Putting you on the spot
This
right
is
now.
my favorite story, and she's going to get really mad, but this is what I tell everybody. So like I said...
Well, again, you have the microphone. She's
I know,
not here right
I
now.
know. Like I said, she didn't used to be as competitive, and my dad is very competitive. So it's like a Sunday afternoon. We still played softball. It was like 8th grade. She's 2 years younger, so like 6th grade. We're on the way up to go hit some on a Sunday afternoon, and she's mad. She did not want to go. She had no interest in getting better. So we pull up, and she's arguing with my dad the whole way there. She's almost in tears, and my dad hates being average. Like, he hates that word. And out of nowhere, she's like, why can I not just be average? And I was so mad. I was like, this is about to be the worst hitting session we've ever had. Dad was mad. She's mad. And it was a long afternoon after that.
Did that just make it, were you hitting the ball harder just because
Probably,
of that?
yes. But yeah, that's my favorite story.
I love that. But actually, I am going to start a line of shirts that's going to say, why can't I just
Yes.
be
I
average?
be average.
And it's just so funny because now she's not like that anymore at all. But
Yeah.
back she used to not care
She
as
just
much.
did not want to go
Yep.
out there and do
She
it.
did not want to.
All right, well, Caitlin will get her puncher's chance whenever she gets on the show. So Hawaii coming up
Yes.
here this week. We asked you just when you got on, but off the air. You've never been to Hawaii, correct?
I have never, no.
Okay, so what are you looking forward to the most outside of the games? Because I know 3 games in 3 days, that's going to be a lot,
Yes.
but you get to go to Hawaii. This is going to be
Yes.
pretty cool.
I'm really just excited about getting to see everything. I think it's going to be beautiful. I mean, we get to be on a beach, so that's awesome in the middle of November.
Yeah, well,
but
you know, we're going to New Hampshire on Saturday
Yes.
for football. It's going to be 40 degrees.
That will be
You're going to
bad.
be 82 degrees
yes,
on a beach in
yeah.
Hawaii.
But overall, I'm just excited to get to see everything. So yeah.
What's the itinerary look like? What are y'all doing?
I think the main things is we're gonna go to Pearl Harbor, which
That
I
will
think
be
will be awesome to
It's
see.
amazing,
Yes. We're gonna have a all the teams there are gonna have a Thanksgiving dinner together.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's good.
So that'll be fun. UCLA get to
Yeah,
have Thanksgiving
high-profile
dinner with
teams.
them.
That's right. Could your 5th grade self ever imagine that?
Absolutely not. It'll be crazy. But and then the last night we're there, I think we're gonna have a luau. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
okay.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a luau,
Oh yeah.
Chris?
Well, I went to Hawaii with football, and we had a team luau. To be different with a bunch of football players.
So
there.
Yeah.
okay, for Kenley, what goes on at a luau?
Lots of food. Sample all kinds of different stuff, and then enjoy the show. There'll be fire and
Oh,
dancing.
that would
and
be
it's-
cool.
And if they ask you to participate, don't. Just
Get
watch.
coach to
Perfect,
get
yeah.
coach to participate to a video.
Volunteer.
And I have
coach.
more advice too. That's a long flight. It's a long flight. So I don't know
Yes.
what you do on an airplane when you're bored, but have movies loaded or podcast or music. Be ready.
Okay. Yeah.
Books. Be ready.
Okay.
Don't play a game with Caitlin.
Yeah,
Just mess
no,
up the whole
absolutely
flight.
not.
Mess up the whole
It's not a
flight.
bad flight. It's just a long flight.
Yeah.
So just find ways to entertain yourself.
Okay. The bad thing is I heard we're going alphabetical, which means I'm probably stuck between Caitlin and Coach McMillan.
Oh!
So that's going to be a really long flight.
We're gonna ask him whenever he comes on. Is he gonna have his Hawaiian shirt?
Oh,
Hawaiian shirts ready.
I'm sure he owns one, so he
Are
should
they-
probably wear it.
What they should make the coaches coach in Hawaiian shirts.
That would be really
Yeah,
cool.
that
like
would
the
be
Maui,
dumb.
the
Yeah.
Maui Invitational.
Yeah, especially when we play Hawaii.
I need to find these people. And I need to talk to them right now. We need to get them in the
I'm
show.
just most impressed that you already know where you're going to be sitting. That's
Well,
impressive. You
Stacy
thinking
told me, and I was
that
like,
far
"Ah."
ahead.
Well, McCarn, McMillan, you got to think about these things.
So Caitlin will probably be talking across from you to Coach McMillan to make you mad because she'll probably see this.
Probably, yes. Actually, she'll probably try to avoid Coach McMillan, and then I'll have to just be the one.
And he'll want to talk to you.
He'll
You
want-
can't put your earbuds
Yes,
in.
yes.
So I go through the same things on road trips because the guys want to sit there and talk. I'm like, Guys, I want a nap.
Yes.
I want to sleep.
He watches his iPad on long trips, doesn't
Sometimes,
He
yeah,
has
or
an
draws up plays.
He has an iPad?
he? Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Don't tell anyone.
Exactly. Yeah, he can't get a phone, but he has an iPad.
No, yeah. Listen, and we are still on the thing of he should have gotten an iPhone
Yes,
after
he
the
should have.
NCAA tournament.
Yes,
but,
yes.
You know, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave that. Well, Kenley, have fun in Hawaii. We will look forward to hearing some great stories whenever you all come back.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
We will take a break. When we come back, we will have head coach of the UT Martin women's basketball team, Kim McMillan, join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory here alongside Chris Brinkley. Now joining us, head coach of the UT Martin women's basketball team, Kevin McMillan, as the Skyhawks got their first win of the season over Missouri State last Tuesday, 74-66. And they will head to Hawaii this week to take on a trio of teams down in Honolulu. Going to be a fun trip for them. But, Coach, starting off first with the win, a very good Missouri State team that you all were able to beat.
They are very good and had just beaten Tulsa and Wichita State. And they came in, and I honestly did not think we were ready to beat them.
You said the night before, or you just want to get through it?
Yeah, I just needed to get through it so we could start working on our stuff. Not, I wasn't dreading the game or anything like that. It was we need time on the court into practice. And so was not expecting that we were ready to beat them. And it was so funny is there was multiple times during the game I was like, okay, we need to do this. Can't do that. We need to do that. Can't do that. But give our kids credit. They figured out ways to win a ball game with a coach that had kind of had them hamstrung. It's like if you go into a fight and you've got 10 weapons to choose from, what are you going to choose? Well, in this situation, you probably ought to use a knife. Well, in this situation, you better use a gun. Well, in this situation, you better use a bazooka. We walked in there with a knife and a slingshot and a rubber band.
The UT Martin women's basketball arsenal.
That was all we had. But I really was impressed with our kids because they figured out – they just turned it into a competitive, tough game, and we were able to get the lead and then just stayed. I mean, I don't think we ever trailed, but we flirted with kind of pushing it out a couple of times. But they're a really good team. So it was a great atmosphere, great game for us. Excited, glad the girls could get a win because kids today need to win. They don't learn a lot from losing, and so it was nice to see them excited and hopefully going to build.
And ask Kenley about what about that environment, Education Day? Those kids certainly provide a lot of energy down to the floor.
Oh, I would play every single game at 11 in the morning with the kids if we could. It's exciting. The kids are into it. I don't think they know what they're into, but who cares?
Just give them sugar and
they'll be fine. But it's great, and I would play that game all the time at 11.
Yeah, Anea leads the way, 25 points and 12 rebounds, and a season high for her in points. What did you see from her? Kenley talked about her finding a rhythm in that game and being able to rack up those points.
The stuff that we were doing kind of went away from her, which I think helps her because, she's not built to just pound and pound and pound. So she needs to move around and get some of the attention off of her. And then she can kind of take advantage of the fact that they're not just laying all over her. And I thought she did that. Now, come to find out, she went to the doctor the next morning and, she's been out since then. She's got COVID.
Oh, Lord.
So for the second time in a month. And so she's really under the weather. And so, again, that was a great performance from her. And hopefully we can build on that with her as we start to get better offensively.
Mm-hmm. Shea collects 15 points, 2 steals, 4 rebounds, 4 of 7 from the field. Kenley 14 and 3, also 35 minutes on the floor too. I mean, backcourt played pretty good. Yeah,
probably a few too many minutes. If we could have our best case scenario, but Nora's still limited, even though she's back playing, and then hopefully Morgan will be back in a couple of weeks, and maybe we can alleviate some of those long stretches where they've got to stay on the floor. But, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, a win's a win.
Yeah.
Well,
You changed your style a little bit in that game and slowed things down, wanting to play at a faster pace. And I guess at some point there will be a hybrid, or do you have a long-term goal in mind? And I guess you don't have to totally reveal it now. But.
No, I think you saw opportunistic transition. We're absolutely not afraid to push it. But we have to execute. And that's – I thought we were going to be able to kind of solely just push the ball and execute a little. It's probably more 35 to 40% push the ball and 55 to 60% execute, or 65.
Kenley, just a moment ago, I don't know if you heard her, was talking about in high school, she played at an extremely fast pace.
Yes.
And then came here, and because of injuries, you had to slow things down. And now she's as comfortable in one as the other, more comfortable at the slower pace, because she said just what you said.
Yep.
It's easier to execute. You see the floor better when things slow down for you.
Yes, and so that's the challenge.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do, that and go back to that. And but we still have players that are really good in the open floor, so so what we're going to do is just let them take advantage of the open floor when they see it. And if they don't like something, fine. Set up, let's execute, let's see what we get. And those can blend together if you're good.
Well, ultimately,
to where you can't see it.
It's better than doing one or the other exclusively.
It is, because you can change. Like, we're going to go out to play UCLA. Well, we better not run up and down the floor with UCLA, so we better slow. Then we play Fresno, who's really big. Now, they're really good, but they're big, but they're not UCLA, so you could speed up. So it allows you to do more than just one thing.
In Hawaii,
Hopefully.
and head to Hawaii this week. American Savings Bank Rainbow Wahine Showdown. That's got to be the longest title for an invitational tournament I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But going to Hawaii, Coach, have you ever been to Hawaii?
One time we went back with Heather and Jasmine in 2013, I believe, when Baylor was out there with Brittany Griner. And
there's do you still have the picture in the locker room of Heather and Brittany?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah.
And then Stanford was there with the Ogumake sisters, and they were really good.
Yeah.
And then Hawaii, and we played all three of those out there.
And one of those, the Stanford game, was really competitive, right?
Stanford game, the first half was extremely competitive, and there's a stretch of the game that will go down as my all-time favorite stretch of a game. We had the 16-minute media timeout, and then the game started back up. We missed the 12 and the 8 media timeouts, and we got down to like 5 minutes. So we played literally 11 straight minutes of basketball without a whistle.
No dead ball.
And no dead ball, no turnover out of bounds, nothing. And ironically, the score during that stretch was like Stanford 23, UTM 22 in this stretch, and it was kind of amazing. Threes back and forth. I mean, it got to be comical. And it was literally, and I hope I can find that stretch somewhere and still have it.
It's funny, it's one of your favorite, because you don't really get to coach a whole lot during those stretches.
I was just back watching.
You were just like a fan.
I was cheering them on as they were, make a shot, and, said, hey, we got subs for you. And I said that at about 12. So.
And then in typical basketball fashion, there were 3 immediate media timeouts.
We had 3 straight timeouts.
It killed the whole flow of the game.
Yeah, the whole game.
It just destroyed everything. So, number 5 UCLA Friday.
Garner said they're number 1.
They're number 1?
Said they just got voted number 1 today.
Oh,
so.
Okay. AP poll updated. So, number 1 UCLA, Hawaii, and then Fresno State. 3 games, 3 quality opponents coming up for your group to face and learn some new things against.
Yeah, and, these are 3 really good teams. Hawaii's got the best team out there they've had in years, and they're picked to win their league. Fresno State is really good, and they're picked in the top 3 in their league. And all 3 of those leagues are way bigger than the OVC. So there'll be challenges. I watched South Carolina play Clemson the other day just because it was on, and I thought South Carolina made Clemson look just tiny. And Clemson was 5'9", 5'10", 6 foot, 6'3". And so then I watched UCLA play South Carolina yesterday, and UCLA made South Carolina look tiny. And they're 6'7", and their shooting guard's 6'4".
Wow.
Their point guard is 6 foot.
Wow.
And I going out on a limb, not having seen them live yet. We played number 1 Notre Dame back when they were number 1 in the country. And I think that may be the only number 1 we've played. Watching this UCLA team, they're noticeably better than that Notre Dame team was.
Is this going to be one of your toughest strength of schedule non-conference?
It could end up being
top 5 for sure.
We're usually, at the end of the season, we're usually in the top 100, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
Because when you play the OVC schedule, your strength of schedule just drops, just unbelievably. But ours is usually so good at the beginning that we hold on to the 100 to the 150 range. And I wouldn't be surprised this year. But
in the non-conference portion, you're top 20.
We're in the top 50 every year non-conference.
Yeah.
Just every year.
Travel plans come up. We talked to Kenley, going to do Pearl Harbor and then also a Thanksgiving dinner as well with some of the other teams. But what's going on? When are you all leaving?
We're leaving tonight at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
okay.
So midnight tonight, we'll be loading the bus, driving to Nashville, leaving here at 1, get there at 4, flying out at 6. We land in Phoenix at 7 o'clock Phoenix time, and then we've got an hour and a half layover, and we fly to Hawaii, and we land at noon Hawaii time. So if you look at it that way, we're going to have breakfast in Nashville, and then by the time we get to Hawaii, it'll be time for lunch.
Yeah.
Only difference is it'll probably be 9 p.m. our time here.
I was so confused when I went to Hawaii with football, and I'm sure you got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, it's going to be different, but the good thing is that we don't play until Friday.
Right.
So that you need the 2 days, two good days to adjust, and we'll do that. But I mean, primarily, this is me scheduling teams like we always schedule. But for the kids, it's more of a when are you ever going to get to do this?
Yeah.
And the fortunate thing for us this year is that we had so many home games that because of our schedule that we are non-conference. The reason we scheduled is because our non-conference budget, we didn't have any road games. Mm-hmm. So we put all of our non-conference budget into one trip. So, typically we've got 5 or 6 road games in the non-conference. Well, this year we really only had 1. So we put all the other 5 into this trip. Yeah. So it'll cost us a little more than the budget allows, but we'll figure out ways to cover it up. And it's just, I like doing stuff that kids don't typically get to do. No matter where you go, going out to Gonzaga in Spokane. I mean, when are you going to ever go to Spokane, Washington? We've been to Philadelphia. We've been to Chicago. Places where kids may not have ever gone or don't frequently get to do, because it's just I love for them to get to see different people, different cultures, different ways of doing things, and that's the big thing for this trip. Basketball's in there too.
Yeah, it's also with those 3 games. So we asked Kenley, are you wearing, or did you pack a Hawaiian shirt?
I don't own a Hawaiian shirt.
Come on, Coach.
There's no chance I own a Hawaiian shirt, and unless someone gives me one, I won't be wearing one.
We need to get Stacy to give you one. You coaching that?
If she gives me one and they ask me to wear it, I might wear it. But
yeah. No, I mean, even I guess last year the Snoopy on the doghouse.
Yeah. For Christmas, they handed it to me, said wear it, so I put it on.
And he did. And it
was great.
It worked.
Yes, it did.
I don't. That's a thing for a lot of places and whatever's, and I don't care if they want me to do it. Fine, but I
see, what happens is people see you as this mastermind basketball coach, and they think you're the most fascinating person in the world. But in reality, you're kind of boring, Coach.
I'm extremely boring, and I'm very sorry that if I'm exploding anybody's idea of who I am. But if you put me on a boring scale to interesting scale, well, that's not
no, you're
interesting. Interesting. I'm
actually
weird, so that's interesting.
No, you're
like boring to non-boring, whatever that is.
But you like the simple things in life.
I'm extremely simple.
There we go.
Yeah,
and that's a good quality.
Yeah, I wear the same jeans that I wore 30 years ago. I don't,
older than Davis.
They fit. They fit. They're fine.
Exactly.
Well, they're not in style. I don't care about style. They fit and they feel fine.
And I'm comfortable in them.
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Wear what you like. No,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna have to see some pictures of you at this luau. That's something that.
Did you do one last time?
We didn't do a luau last
okay.
time. So
Did you
this
go to
is
Pearl Harbor last time?
we went to Pearl Harbor last time, and I'll be honest with you, I don't want to go back to Pearl Harbor. I've seen it once, and I have no desire to put myself back in that place.
Tough, yeah.
It is really heavy, or it was for me. I don't know what it is for other people, and so I'm not looking forward to that. But I am, my daughter's going, and so I want her to see that, and I want the kids to see it just because I think it's important. But that really was
It was tough.
It's tough.
Well,
And-
what was uplifting for me when we visited with football is there was a veteran that was there who actually was there when Pearl Harbor occurred, and getting to meet him. He was in his mid-90s, and I don't know if there's anyone that's alive that would be there anymore now.
And if they are, that would really
that was
make me-
inspiring.
yeah.
Hearing him tell his story, and we bought his book.
Oh wow!
But it's tough. It is. You're right. It's a very, very heavy place to go. And I remember September the 11th. And were you at Westview then?
Yeah.
Yeah. And feeling like that this might be something, but it was tragic, but not like what we experienced during Pearl Harbor, particularly for those people that were there.
Yeah. So that the luau we never did before. It'll be interesting, fun, which is great. And then I honestly don't know what Stacy's got. I think we're on the beach. The beaches though are not what we think of beaches. The water's gorgeous. It is. The beaches are not like Florida beaches. It's not the white, pristine sand. It's more like grayish, brownish.
Yeah.
Like whole grain bread.
Yes, exactly. and so I'm kind of like, eh.
That's funny.
But the water's pretty.
You could surf.
Oh my
I
gosh!
can't
Please,
surf, but
please.
I would enjoy seeing somebody surf.
Let's get Garner to surf.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat. But it's just something that you've said you've been to Hawaii. I'm not looking forward to the plane trip. Yeah, I might kill Kenley if she and I sit next to each other.
So you heard that? Yeah.
Yeah, she was so excited about the plane trip, bouncing back and forth, and somebody said, I think they do this alphabetically, and she didn't care. She was like, "Oh, that's fine. I'll be next to my sister." And and about 10 seconds later, she went, "Oh no!" And I just waited for her to figure it out, and then I just put my arm around her and said, 10 hours, 11 hours straight. And she went, "Oh my gosh.
Think of how many plays you can draw up during that
I'm
time.
going to make her do it."
Yeah. I love it.
It'd be wonderful.
You have to redraw this play.
Yeah,
as
Kenley,
I draw it.
draw this up as I go.
Yeah.
Or make her put it on her iPad. And
Yes,
Yeah.
you draw it up. Oh,
It'll be fun.
It will be a great time. Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Safe travels.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next couple weeks.
All right. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, you too, Coach.
Put me back on. Put me back on.
Oh, here we go.
I'm so excited for football.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yes.
gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't hear until, I don't know when I heard last night, this morning, sometime. But I'm so excited now. We're playing in
New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Are we playing New Hampshire?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll beat New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And,
Called it right in.
and then,
Yeah.
where's Coach Simpson?
He just
here?
got in
Yeah,
here.
he's
He just
here.
got in
Okay,
here.
no
He's
pressure,
kinda-
Coach. I just, it's so great.
And 3 teams from the league getting in.
That's really good.
That was big.
That's really good. Who was the third? Tech?
Tennessee
State.
SEMO,
Tennessee State.
and us.
Yeah, and no offense to the rest of the league. I hope they all lose, but I hope we win and keep going. But it's just so great to be in the tournament and to have a chance. And I'm just excited. I was so upset for our, losing to Tech 10-9. I was like, golly, that might hold us out because we've been out before when I thought we should be in.
I agree.
So I was so excited to hear they're in, and it's awesome, and hope everybody can support them as they get ready for this trip.
Yep.
Yeah, New
Well said.
Hampshire. It's going
All
to be
right.
a fun time. It won't be as fun as Hawaii, but we'll try to make it there.
New Hampshire, Hawaii. You never know.
We'll see. Definitely a temperature difference. in that.
Yeah, right.
Well, we'll take another break, and when we come back, head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, will join us on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk, our final guest of the show is Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Now joining us, head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson. As is history for UT Martin, they clinched not just a share of their 4th straight league title, but earned an at-large bid for the first time in school history to the FCS playoffs. Didn't smoke a cigar on Saturday, Coach, so I'm healthy and I'm here, not like last year. So we're back. We're excited. Congratulations on another championship and also on playing some more football.
Well,
thanks. I tell you what, I guess we kind of backed into it, if you want to say that. The way the schedule unfolded and stuff, but that's just kind of how it goes. 2 weeks ago we controlled our destiny and came up short, and so I mean there was a lot on the line this week. One was you liked your odds of getting the playoffs if you got the win based on your strength of schedule and the wins that you'd had. And then you needed some help for some Tennessee State to beat SEMO in order to grab a piece of the share. So, I didn't really realize what the score was, I guess, until they got in about the fourth quarter after our game was completely over, that, okay, if you could be, have a part of the conference championship, and tomorrow you may get some good news to get in. So, we were kind of blessed both ways. And so, so just a good memory for the players. I mean, there's some things we left out there this year. I certainly feel that way, and I think our mature players would feel that way as well. The SEMO game in double overtime, the Tech loss. But you're still playing this week. There's only 24 teams in the country that are still. You work all this year, to talk about a national championship, and this is how the tournament and the bracket's set up. So it was very, it never gets old. It was very satisfying to watch our players and see their name up on the board yesterday on ESPN. And it's funny, when your name gets called, you quit watching the program. You didn't really know who else was in there. So I was very pleased with that, and I appreciate that having that opportunity to be a part of that.
And I'm going to sound like the old man for just a second.
Go ahead, Chris.
If you would have told us in the late 90s when we were struggling to get a first down, or in the 2000s when we were trying to get our first OVC win, that someday, Chris, in the future, you will win 4 straight OVC titles, I would have said, what planet are you living on? Because I knew we would get better and there would be chances, but I never in my life imagined 4 years in a row. So congratulations to you and the coaching staff, the fan base, and to the players on this team this year who made that happen.
Well, I appreciate that, Chris. And you and I go back and we remember in 06.
Yeah.
It was like, of course, that time, we had the automatic, and so we were just waiting to see where we were going to play. But it was so new, to the community, and it was a big deal. And not that yesterday wasn't a big deal, okay? But there is still some satisfaction that I have of 4 years in a row, and we've been complaining about getting left out of the playoffs, but
I don't want to use the D word, but 4 years in a row is almost a dynasty.
Well, you think about it, there's finally 9 teams in the league and stuff, but no, I mean that's the league that you're in, and that's kind of that's the first measuring stick is how you do in your conference, and then what is that? Sometimes regionally or sometimes nationally, and so though there is some satisfaction that our staff and especially Bannon's been here with me a long time and some other guys, but no, I am proud of it. I am
it's an incredible accomplishment. It really is.
There is I'll think more about it maybe 10 years from now, okay, but every once in a while for about 10 seconds I'll go, that's 4 conference championship rings in a row, because we won it in 06, and then we went, what was it, 15 years or 13 years before we won another one, even though we had some really good teams. That 2012 team was good, and we dropped one, in overtime to Tennessee Tech, actually. That was the last time we had lost to them.
Yep.
11-year run. So, no, but thank you. I appreciate that. It was this is a fun group. They could be frustrating, okay, and some of them is because of just I've been doing this 30 years, guys. If you just listen, I think I can help you. Coach Partridge has been doing it longer than me. He can help you have success. He tells you step with your right foot. I promise you, there's a reason for that, and then so as a coach and a competitor, those 2 games we left out there, I'm still frustrated about them, okay. And because they're so close, right? And as a coach, right, you got to be able to make a difference and get your players over the hump. But anyway, that's down the road. But now we move on to New Hampshire. Never played them before. Never been there before. Wasn't sure you could get there from here. Okay, but obviously you fly into Boston and then we drive, from there. I've seen them on the playoffs before. I know that at some point Chip Kelly right, was on the staff there years ago, and luckily I think the weather's going to be in the 40s, so low snow, so that's good. That gives us an opportunity, but they're coming out of CAA, okay, which is obviously a quality. At one point in the last 5 years, you could say that was the number 1, number 2 conference in the country. That in the Missouri Valley, the Big Skies kind of continued, so it changes. The portal has changed it too now. There's a little shift. Obviously, the OVC got better. We got 3 teams in this year.
Yeah.
And so, why does that happen? I'm not real sure. Okay. But, the top half of our league was, very good teams. Hopefully that trend will continue to show, in the first round of these playoffs.
Yeah.
So we go to first, the senior day victory against Lindenwood in overtime. Coach, 33-26, down 13-0 in that second quarter. Trailed at halftime, came back to win. And I was talking to Chris as we were wrapping things up on the post-game show. Kincaid really impressed me in this game that he did not have a great start. But the way that he finished this game and competed, you mention that all the time when you talk about him, a true competitor in 18 of 27, 272 yards, 3 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. And he led this team down the end of that stretch.
No, you're right. You described that very well. Early in the game, it wasn't necessarily he was making some right reads. There was just a couple balls that maybe came up a little short that, maybe another yard out in front, big plays. And so, but it didn't happen. And then it magnified, right, because wasn't real pleased with our start on defense. Okay, and there were some things that we called the strength wrong one time that left the tight end open in the flat. We had a backer run to the flat, and and he should have been in a hook drop, and that leaves our safety with no help underneath, and then they run a route that crosses a faded face as the safety's getting depth. So things that we could have controlled, we were not controlling them, and and there's no pressure on Lindenwood, right? They were. They had nothing to lose, and
they didn't play like that, though.
Well, what I mean by that is that either goes one or two ways, right?
Yeah.
You're either you get off to a good start, and that's your mindset. You're like, hey, man, it's great. We're playing today. We're trying to get to our fifth win in the conference. Maybe we were good enough to be. We're fixing to beat one of the teams and take their, knock them out of the playoffs, and so the momentum can kind of grow, and it kind of did the first quarter. So. Not happy with the way we started, okay, but defense, sure some things up, so you get to 13-7 at the half. And so still not playing very well on offense, and that continued for, that was that was almost 6 quarters of only scoring 1 touchdown in 6 quarters. And that was very concerning. And, the backs, wasn't making anybody miss, put the ball on the ground, Cheeks did. We were short on some plays. Maybe didn't hold the protection on. It was a little bit of everybody. Then you come out in the third quarter, and Kincaid started making some plays, and Rucker, bailed him out a couple times, and and then probably one of the biggest plays was Kincaid's 55-yard run.
Yeah.
Yes, in that first, because that was at that
got
point
us to
in time.
the first quarter, right?
That
first
was
score.
It was like 55 of our 68 rushing yards in
Yeah.
the first half were on that carry.
Yeah, and so no, that was big. Now, if you watch the tape, there's probably a throw he should have. It was probably a 5-yard gain sitting there he should have got to. All right, but he didn't, passed it up and got left without a throw. And then he just kind of competed then and came out of a run. Their safety had him dead to rights and didn't lock up. And that's just how it goes. Big runs are created because usually tackles are missed. And so the tackle was missed, and he competed, and glad he did.
And Patrick Smith, 15 carries, 80 yards and a touchdown, now up to 13 on the season. Trevonte Rucker, 5 catches for 87 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. And then Dawson wrapping up the offensive stats, has the touchdown in overtime with 2 catches for 58 yards. And want to note on that play for Dawson, that screen out of the backfield. First of all, great play design, Coach. That was really nice.
Well, I stole it from Texas, from Sark. But, no, over the years, that's been something I felt like we needed, right? Because we've kind of been a little bit of a play-action team, pulling the guard, trying to get the backers down a little bit, even though it's in the gun. And, so go back to Sean Payton, when he was with the Saints, now with the Broncos, right? They're very good with Drew Brees when he was a quarterback of having different screens off of their runs and play actions. Okay, so you had to get ready for the run. Then here came the play action. Then there's a screen off of it. It was either to the tight end or the back. And then and normally screens, right? You've got your drop back screens, right, where you get everybody in coverage, and then you drop it down to the back and get out. And then you've got your play action screens, right, where you're usually pulling a guard, okay, and then the linebackers go, oh, that's the play action, and then they get out of there, and then you're hitting the back or you're hitting the tight end. So that was where that one came from, and fortunate, second long, and that at that time you got a chance. You either try to run it usually to get it back to third and medium, right? You can throw it again, right? And okay, what's your chances of getting, because you go incomplete, right? Now it's 3rd and 10, all right? And then at this time we had kind of decided early in the week, okay, we're going to get to this screen. You're not going to do it on 3rd and short because there's a lot of man coverage, and so maybe second long's the time. So called it at the right time, and kids executed. What a big play.
And Vance, I mean, he's got
That
some
was
wheels.
awesome.
He was
Yeah.
scooting down
That
the
was-
field.
Those line, they're such good kids, and when I think of Vance and Drake and Josiah, and they understood we wasn't in that run game. We, you either have to physically move people, all right, but sometimes to get it's you run in. There's just nowhere to go, okay, and you can't always. The other guys are on scholarship too. And then the back sometimes makes you look better than how you really blocked it. And there's sometimes the back misses the cut. There was a couple runs early where we thought Cheeks could have stayed more front side on some runs, and he cut it back, and they get him for a 1 yard gain. But you could see yesterday was really neat to see Vance being, the kind of satisfaction of getting in the playoffs and all. So that was kind of very emotional day for those kids, right? Senior day.
Yeah.
Right. They win, the kind of relief of, hey man, we are going to end on a good note. Now, what does this mean for us now? So very.
And it's the whole day.
satisfying.
Their families are there.
Yeah.
Prior to the game,
Yeah.
you're with your mom and dad, possibly brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I tell you what, and I let them talk to the team on Friday, the seniors, and pretty mature group. Just how they, gave kind of last will and testament, kind of to their teammates. A lot of very profound things were said. Like a grown man would say it.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things of Vance now is, he said, whether it's all conference, all American, playoffs, those are all cool things. He goes, but if you can take one thing from me, all right, your relationship with Christ is way more fulfilling than any of those things.
Wow.
It was really cool. It was really neat, man. And so very blessed to have him in this program, and we're really going to miss him in the future.
And a really cool moment, too, before the game. Patrick on Instagram, he was baptized before the game, too. And
Friday night. Yeah.
That was awesome.
No, I appreciate Nick Glenn coming down, and Cheeks' parents were here. We had to wait for them to get here, and it was during the high school game, so I didn't actually get to see it, but I knew it was going on, and, that's okay. I didn't have to be there to see it, just to know that happened here in our program and in our facilities, that he felt comfortable enough to have his teammates and to go even get dunked in the whirlpool now.
We're
not in the baptistry.
Ice tub.
Okay, in the ice tub, but that was really cool.
And defensively, going over some stats for them. Jalen Sharp, interception, that was huge there leading up to that Trevonte Rucker touchdown. Tevin Shipp has 10 tackles, 1.5 sacks. Lamorion Pierce was impressive, Coach.
He was.
With 9 tackles.
Except for his silly whatever that is. I don't know where that came
the
up.
mime,
The mime.
is something like that. But anywho, Devontae Murray gets 2 sacks, and J. Mike, the game-sealing interception, 7 sacks. Coached by the defense.
Yeah.
That really good penetration up front and some defensive back blitzes.
No, that was a very physical game on the sideline. The tackles were different. The sense of urgency when we were down and we were battling back and stuff, it was quite impressive. I don't know how many interceptions we've gotten in the last 4 or 5 weeks. It seems like there's 2 and 3 a game.
Yeah.
So pleased with
It's
that.
become your identity.
No, it is. But I was talking to our defensive staff, though. Still, you can't give up 350 yards passing, though, guys. Right? Because there's things that we're doing that aren't sound, and the kids aren't executing and it's simple things. You cut that down to under 300. Now, okay, because you hadn't been able to run it against us. Okay, and so we just got to do a better job this week, and and correct those mistakes.
And one note on the game, 122 yards of offense in that first half, but then 158 in that third quarter, Coach, for your offense, and then 140 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They had 254 yards in the first half. They didn't go over 100 in the third or fourth quarter and didn't have – I mean, they had 98 yards in the fourth quarter, but 93 came on that final drive. So defensively and the adjustments at halftime, what was said and what was really corrected?
Well, you're in a mode where our defense coordinator Butch is very good once he realizes how they're trying to attack us and things we can do to take certain things away. He does a great job with that. Now we got to anticipate do a better job in the first quarter from the last couple of weeks. But no, I always know if we can keep it close. Traditionally, our defense has done quite well in the second half. We make those. We didn't execute on the field goal PATs. We gave up 2 blocks, and one of them they scoop and score. And so there is no overtime if that's taken care of. And it was just a poor execution, and the kid feels awful, but it happened to 2 different offensive linemen and allowed the field goal to get blocked. And so could have cost us, and almost did.
And you come now into overtime and want to discuss the touchdown to Dawson. Third down and goal in OT at the 1-yard line. It felt similar to the situation with Tennessee Tech the previous week in that fourth quarter. What'd you do differently to get the ball in the end zone on that play?
It's kind of funny. We ran the same play. With the way they lined up, we put our goal line short yardage our goal line plan usually in on Thursday mornings and our Wednesday nights and Thursday morning and rep it out then. Because you can't go out there in full pads and have the Civil War, collisions there this time of the season, right? So it's mostly walk through, okay? So when you go through this, okay, the best bet you had of watching other people against them, everybody has tendencies on goal line. You have 1 or 2 fronts that you play, and so the best thing people were doing against them was running the quarterback, and the back actually had to block in order, to make that happen, okay? And the ball got rolled back. It's called quarterback duo. And, so that was in there a couple different ways. So we had 5 goal line plays, all right? One was a pass, but 2 of them were quarterback runs. One was a back run, and then one was the play we threw to Dawson. All right, well, be honest, so on the 5-yard line we ran that play, but they weren't in goal line defense yet. Okay, so we got a couple yards. Well, now you're inside the 2, so it's second down. So now here comes the goal line and called the play. And, we're able to hand the ball off and get a couple. Now we get it to the 1, right? Well, so now you're at the 1. You hate to be in the gun like that, but that's the college football right now. You don't get on the center that much. And so anyway, all we did the next time was same play, but we rumbled the tight end and Dawson, the H, from one side to the other, kind of make the defense have to think a little bit. And this time they added on another pressure to it. So you knew he was going to have to pull, Kincaid was going to have to pull the ball, all right, and did a great job. He did an outstanding job. Tyler did a great job. And their player did a good job, right? Because if he squeezes, Kincaid probably runs in. Well, he made him pull the ball, but still was able to redirect and get in the quarterback's face, and that's why he had to throw the ball going away. So there was only about this much window to get the ball in there. On 4th down, I would have gone for it, even though we were that close for a field goal. It's just a tough angle sometimes right there on the right hash, on the 1-foot line. So luckily we got it in, and that was big, and that gave her – so, that's the disadvantage when you go second. The strategy is you win the toss, which they did, right? You go on defense first to see what your opponent does. Do they kick a field goal? They not score, right? Now, once you score a touchdown, then they're going to get 4 downs, right? Because they know they've got to score. At least they know what they're dealing with. If you're on offense, you get the 4th down, you usually would kick the field goal and take the 3 and try to hold them. And so the biggest play of the game, and I'm glad the officials got it right, was – the offensive pass interference, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, because what they did is they've gotten us several times slipping the tight end in the flat, okay? But this time he was downfield and their receiver was blocking, and usually that ball is caught right at the line of scrimmage, which now he can block downfield because but you go, 1 yard past, and that's what happened, and which in turn gives the offense an advantage, okay? So
big call for us, backed them up 3rd and long, okay, and, still 4th down, able to throw it in the end zone, give himself a chance, and we got to be smarter and knock that ball down and not try to catch it.
All right, still get the win there.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday now, upcoming, New Hampshire in the first round of the playoffs, 16 seeded Wildcats. So you get the first at-large bid in school history. And at first, you talked about it a little bit, just being able to see your name pop up. But how relieving was it, especially with how the past 2 years have gone? I remember sitting here last year, and you came and was like, I've got some poison to spin out today.
Yeah.
And then now it's just, okay, yes, finally, we're in and we've got a chance.
Well, I think it was kind of a two-part deal, right? One, the competitive side, and you says, okay, you have to get in a large bid to get in. Hey, this is the 4th year. They left us out 22 and 23, with a piece of the championship, 8 wins, last year. But our, RPI or our strength of schedule was not as high as it was this year. Okay. So, okay, so besides winning 9 or win the league outright, okay, NCAA committee, here is, this is what you said, this is why you didn't hold us out last year. So there was competitiveness of just seeing us get in, right? You want your program to have a national name enough to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That you've earned the right to be there. So that was first and foremost. And then about an hour later, you come in, okay, you start watching the tape of your opponent. And you say, okay, this is real. Here we go. Now you're playing a team you hadn't played, a place you haven't been. You don't know anything really about them, and you start looking at the stats, and then you start getting into your normal game week as much as you can. But it's not a normal game week because you're during a holiday week. Thanksgiving's on Thursday. You can only travel 64 players to this game. There's 105 kids, 110 kids in the program. Okay. It's a tough deal, okay? But here's kind of how I've approached this, and we did it in 21 too. All right, if you want to come to a program that's won 4 conference championships, okay, and you're kind of hedging your bet to where I want to be a part of that, okay, and I want to go to the NCAA playoffs, all right, I want to go to the NFL, okay, we've got some evidence for you, okay, but with that comes we don't just give those conference championships away, those rings away.
Right.
Our season's not over yet. Could be over Saturday, could be next week. There's 5 games left, okay, potentially. Our season's not over, so you're on this team. You want a conference championship ring? We're practicing Monday through Thursday. That's the only way I know to do it, and still give the guys that are playing the best opportunity to have success on Saturday. You know what? And those guys that aren't getting to travel this week. All right, then next, hopefully they move up a rung on the ladder, right, and they'll want the same from, their younger players. So that's how this deal has to go.
It's fair.
It
is.
That's what you play college football for. If not, go play D3 where they don't play on Thanksgiving, and you go home, and got coaches that won't be. We'll have Thanksgiving dinner together Thursday night. I think the 6 o'clock. And then they're getting ready. Some will be able to travel home, or they're 2 weeks away from Christmas vacation. Go home for Christmas. Okay. So anyway, I think about all those things, but you try to do what's best for the majority and for the program, and take care of the program first, and that's how we'll schedule this out.
So last question for you, Coach. Wildcats, getting into them, a very disciplined team. I think they're top 10 in the country in least penalty yardage allowed, and their defense is pretty good as well. Ended the year on a 4-game winning streak. What do you see from them?
I think they got good players. Okay. Schematically on defense, they very smart. Their defense coordinator, there's some really good fits. They always outnumber you in the box. There's always, if you can block 6, there's going to be 7. You can block 7, there's going to be 8 or 9. Okay. Very active. They kind of play it seems to me, like more in a 6 DB set, even though they roll down in the box as linebackers. Okay, so pretty multiple when it comes out. They can cover, and they're still strong enough and physical enough to be able to tackle. So kind of unique when it comes to that. Defensively very stingy. It'll be a field position for us to be successful. It'll be field position. You're gonna have to, you're not going to just they're not going to be so afraid of our pass game that they change what they're doing and lighten that box up. No, they're going to force us to muddy things up. You hope you keep the safeties down enough to throw it over their heads. But if you're saying too many third and longs, right now the safeties are back, and then they have the advantage. So, probably nothing a whole lot different than Tennessee State or Tennessee Tech. Which not sure we played great against Tennessee Tech. So that's one of the things that concern me. And then offensively, I know their numbers aren't great, okay, but with some of the weather they've played in and the different good defenses they played against, they do seem to be built a certain way to score enough on offense, win it on defense, and get to the next week. And so they got a really good receiver. The quarterback's a good player. You got some good offensive linemen. So it's certainly a challenge. And anybody that's in the group of 20, the round of 24 is going to be a good team. And they're at home. And they kind of get that extra day of practice, just like we would have. We were at home. You're not rushed on Thursday. You get some more working on Friday. But we'll be traveling to Boston, on Friday. Yeah. I got something for you. Okay. And he's not here today, so I can't really brag on him, all right? But my question to you is, yesterday in the invitation show, the ESPN show, okay, the selection committee, all right, I look up and I see Alex, okay? And he's barely walking, okay? And I was told that he was sick all day the day before because I knew he couldn't be at the game, all right? But he pulled through, supposedly, and he threw up 17 times. I would like to think that you still would have pushed through and you would have been there yesterday.
I was at church.
Okay, but I'm just talking about being sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That you would have pushed through.
I would.
Are you sure?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
I called the Eastern Illinois game last year with chronic sinusitis. Coach, my nose was
whoa,
sealed up. Yeah.
Davis.
What
just say you had a sore throat, because when you say that word, right, you lose the John Wayne.
You do lose the John Wayne. John would never say that. He's right.
Bad sinus, ultra bad sinus infection. I was in church. I had Sunday school.
Well, that's good that you were in church. I'm impressed with that.
I was taking your advice. You said go to church.
Well, that's right. You did. How's that coming, by the way?
No, it's all right.
Anybody
wrap it up.
And we got another break coming up here on this show. Yeah. We'll be working on our New Hampshire accents, and we'll be ready for the game. Yeah, we'll be ready. Well, Coach, good luck. Thanks so much, man, for your time.
Appreciate
as always.
We'll
see you next week.
Thank y'all.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And that'll do it for another episode of Skyhawk Sports Talk. Chris has got to get to Union City, so we're going to wrap this up pretty quick.
Right.
Go to utmsports.com for all your updates. And for Chris, all of our coaches on the show. Well, do you want to say anything here as we wrap things up?
No, I mean, what a great week. What a great opportunity for all of our teams who are competing this week. Go Skyhawks. Go to utmsports.com. Follow them. If you can make it to Hawaii or New Hampshire, go.
Yes.
Or to Tennessee to watch the men's basketball team.
Come on. It'll be a great time. Well, that'll do it for us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast. Make sure to tune in next week. Have Coach Simpson on as we recap first round of the FCS playoffs. God bless here from Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.